Hi there, welcome to the YouTube channel. Hope you're really glad you're back. So I'm guessing you've hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, go and do it now before you watch the rest of the video. Give me a hand, get my numbers up on here. Anyway, back in Phyrexia, all will be one, back in Commander Deck Tech land, and today's one is really something that I haven't seen much play yet, so I decided to have a go at it. I tested it on stream the other night, and it worked okay. I didn't win the game, but it would work okay. So, what are we talking about today? Well, it's one of the cheaper commanders, and it's in a colour combination that I don't really play that much of, I'm going to be really honest about, but this one did intrigue me enough that I've put the deck together. What am I talking about? Well, today I'm talking about Venser, Corpse Puppet, a blue and a black for a 1/3 legendary Phyrexian zombies wizard creature. Has lifelink and toxic 1, so we're going to be chucking poison counters around, but has an interesting take on proliferate. Whenever you proliferate, choose one. If you don't control a creature named the Hollow Sentinel, put it into play. It's a 3/3 Phyrexian Golem artifact creature token, which is great. And then target artifact creature you control gains flying and lifelink until the end of turn. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest about this. I've gone down the proliferate route with the deck you're about to see. It is possible to use this and do the whole artifact thing, and I'm thinking about that. So there may be a second Venser video coming out sometime soon. But at the moment, this is going to be the one around the proliferate. So if you bought a poison decks already in Commander, I'm really sorry. This is going to be another one that's along those lines. But we do have some other bits and pieces. So what does today's deck look like? Well, it looks very much like this. It's a very much in-touch blue-black deck. Start with the lands as usual. The usual selection of blue-black lands are here. We've got fielded in here because we have got a lot of multiple ways of getting zombie tokens, so that's gone in. Ice tunnels in, few islands, few swamps, reliquary towers in, obscura storefronts in as well, just so we can go and get the one we're missing. Khan's Bastion I'm going to mention because 4 mana proliferate on a land is pretty good as far as I'm concerned. And Temple of the False God, obviously, to ramp things up, and Herbal Tomb of the Agramoth, because most of the things we've got on the deck are black, believe it or not. So, ramp wise, Tantalite, Talisman, Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, and Talisman of Dominance is all I went for. Didn't seem a lot of point in doing anything else. We haven't got that much at the top end. We've got quite a lot down the bottom end, so hopefully we'll get the ramp out and get things done quickly. So, starting with what we're doing, like I said, it's going to be a proliferate deck. So as you can see from up here, we've only got 37 lands in the deck, 24 creatures, 38 other spells. And we're just going to go through them quickly. A lot of them you'll recognise from things before, and the ones you really need to hear about, I'll talk about now. Aspirant Ascent is something that's turning up quite a lot in standard decks at the moment, believe it or not, especially in the Ivy decks. I've seen it played a few times against me on Arena recently. Basically giving any creature +1/+3 flying and toxic until the end of turn and copying it with Ivy is really good. And so I figured I might as well try it in here because there's a few creatures we've got that don't have toxic, so it's another way of getting those poison counters around to proliferate. Brainstorm, Serum Visions, take your pick. You haven't got to play these. Any 1 mana ones will do. I just put these in because Brainstorm lets me look at the top 3, and Serum Visions, again, draws me one and then gets to scry the worst 2 at the bottom, hence why it's here. Vampiric Tutors in, just to go and get the thing we're missing from the deck, or from our hand that we need to win the game with a bit of luck. Whisperous of Dross, early removal spell, things like Birds of Paradise, Cheap Elves, and then do the proliferate bit is also good fun. Elixir of Immortality, just so we can make sure everything comes back in if we need it to. Sol Ring I mentioned, and then Vector Asp. I'm not convinced by Vector Asp, I'm going to be honest. A 1 mana artifact for a 1/1's fine, and then paying the black for the infect. I mean, infect is technically better than toxic because it does chuck around the -1/-1 counters, so possibly worth it, but we'll try it out in here to see what happens. Over to 2-drop land, Blighted Agent, can't be blocked, make sure you get those poison tokens going through, which is great. Cyclonic Rift, control the board. Experimental Augury, I quite like this card, and does the proliferate thing, we get to manipulate the top of our library, so that's always fun. Search is in, just so we can go and get the things we need, and if we have to chuck things in the graveyard, so be it. Serum Snail, just to do the bouncy bit if we need it, and also the proliferate, which is nice. Thrumming Bird is definitely the traditional card to do proliferate with. This is the new artwork on here, so I actually prefer it to the old one. hence why it's here. And you know, getting in with this and doing that damage is quite easy 9 times out of 10. Blight Body Rat, toxic 1, and when it dies you get the proliferate trigger. It's been quite good in draft, so I figured it's worth a chance to try it out in Commander as well. Drown and Ica is a nice way of doing the -4/-4. Now it is sorcery, so you do have to play it in your turn, but it's only 1 black and 1, and then you do get a proliferate off it as well, so we can't complain too much. Necrogen Communion, just to make sure we can get it back, the creature we've got it on, back into our hand when it dies, and having the toxic 2 is really quite nice. Pestilent Siphoner, another one with toxic, just flies for 2 mana, fine by me. And Parenthesis gives a creature infect, so yeah, I'm not sure how it works, but I think if you've got infect and toxic on the same creature, you'd chuck out 2 poison counters, so bear that in mind, depending what the toxic level is. Ikamoon Gauntlet, yeah, I've got a few planeswalkers in here. I want to try this out, and I figured this was a good place to try it out, hence why it's appearing in here. Yeah, the 0 and proliferate is really why it's here. I mean, you know, I think this is probably more at home in a Super Friends deck than anywhere else, because, you know, just giving all your planeswalkers the ability to proliferate makes them ridiculously powerful. But I figure we'd try it in here as well, since we want to do the proliferate thing, but we'll see how it goes. Steady Progress, proliferate, draw card. Yep, that's fine, I'll have the card draw. Thassa, just to manipulate the top of our deck. Mesmerizing Dose, enchant the most annoying creature on the table, make sure it doesn't untap and proliferate, so that's why it's here. Grim Reflection, -1 on a target, put -1 on target creature and then proliferate it, so you can, you know, as long as the creature hasn't got pro black, putting that -1/-1 counter on it and then proliferating it away could be a really good way of getting rid of it if it's annoying you. Infectious Inquiry, just a way to draw some cards. We lose a couple of life, but everyone gets on a poison counter then, so it's a nice way around doing that. Icarats, another way of giving each player a poison counter, which is what we want to be doing. And Phyrexian Crusader, probably doesn't turn out often, but yeah, there are white decks and red decks kicking around at the moment, so the protection from both of them with the first strike with Infect could be really useful. To back up the protection a little bit, the Sword of Truth and Justice is in. Now, the only reason this is here is when it deals combat damage, you do get to proliferate, so that's why it's here, so bear it in mind. So we need to make sure we get it through. This is really good if you've got it equipped to the Blighted Agent, by the way, just so we're clear on that. Yeah, plus, you know, 3 unblockable poison damage a turn, plus a proliferate, so that's 4 damage. That's pretty good as far as I'm with. Tezzeret's Gambit, pay the 2 life to draw the cards and proliferate if we need to. Mind World Curator, just so we can put some of the instants and sorceries we've already played back on top of our library. Gambit's a prime target, get the extra card draw on the proliferate side of it, so bear it in mind. Viral Drake's got Infect, and it's got static ability where you can pay the 4 to proliferate. Tetutha Inquiry Dominus is also in the deck. Again, it's another one of the Dominuses from the new set. And it, you know, would you proliferate twice instead, so it just makes it really good. But one thing you can do, remove 3 counters from among other artifacts, creatures or planeswalkers you control to put the indestructible counter on it. Now, this is going to be coming off the planeswalkers when we get there shortly, so bear that in mind. Instill Infection, -1 counter, nice way, draw a card, proliferate something, okay, good. Sheldred's Head Cleave is also in. It's a 2/4 with Menace, basically, but it's got Toxic 2, so it's one of the bigger toxic creatures from the new set in the right colour. Damnation to control the board. Tide, just a little bit of countering. Ooh. Although if someone has got an annoying creature and an annoying planeswalker that's getting close to ultimating, is a good way of destroying it. Okay, they get a card off it, but I'd sooner they did that than have the ultimate go off. Corrupted Conscience is in. In fact, you get to control enchanted creatures. You can go and nick someone's card. Inexorable Tide gives a nice way of proliferating. Vivisurgeon's Insight, draw 3 cards, proliferate. Gulping Scrap Trap gives another way to proliferate when it comes into the battlefield and dies. Going from there to Vat Emergence, put target creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control and proliferate. Yep, happy with that. Crux Fate, blow the board up again. Skithrex, yeah. Probably one of the greatest infect creatures ever printed ever. Just going in, paying 6 for a haste 4/4 with infect is just great as far as I'm concerned. And if you've got spare mana to regenerate it, even better. First Planeswalkers in, Ashiok Nightmare Muse, just because I want to get some blockers into play or bounce things. Or, hit the gauntlets so we can start proliferating even quicker. Kiora's Dambreaker proliferates when it enters the battlefield. It's a 5/6, it's not the greatest thing. It's got no other way of avoiding combat. You're just going to swing with it. It's a big dumb creature. Look at it from that point of view. Next Planeswalker, Teferi, just so we can do the untapped stuff so we can do more if we need to. Grave Titan, because it's a black deck, and a 6/6 and a couple of zombies. Thank you very much, I'll cope with that. Same reason Noxious Gearhog's in here, just to blow the board up. It'll blow up the most annoying creature in play. They're kind of sort of like semi-win conditions in this deck if we need them. Ooh. Sorry, yawning. Vraska, the new version of Vraska's in as well. It's another way, draw a card, lose a life, proliferate, or if you don't want to lose a life, you can just do the whole proliferate thing off here. I mean, this may seem a bit weird having this in here with 3 Planeswalkers, but I wanted to try it out before I moved it elsewhere, so hey hum. Contagion Engine is also here. Now this is an old card going back from Scars of Myriad, and I think people have forgotten about it along with the Contagion class down here. They are good. They do give you ways of doing the whole proliferate thing. So 4 mana, tap it, proliferate from there. But if you do the 4 mana and tap it, because it costs you 6, you get double proliferate. Just be careful if you're playing on MTGO, because you do have to go and click each of the things you want proliferated. I forgot the other day when I was testing the deck out, and it all went a bit pear-shaped for me, because if I'd remembered, I would have won. But hey, just bear that in mind when you're playing this. Going across, last few cards, Brainstealer Dragon, just so we can exile a card and get that thing in, and I want to try it out since I picked one up. And it seemed like another way of, 6/6 flies pretty hard to deal with in any format. Black Sun Zenith is the ultimate. Let's chuck some -1/-1 counters around. Now, obviously, we don't really want to do it on our creature, we can avoid it, but if we need to do it and then hit the proliferate button, just don't proliferate our creatures, yeah? And obviously, the final card, if we're going to play a whole poison deck, there is literally no point in not playing Blightsteel Colossus. Just play it anyway. It's just a crazily good card, and it is 11/11 with Trample, Infect, and Indestructible. That really does help us win the game really quickly, so bear that in mind. But anyway, that's my take on Venser. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think I've missed out. I think should have mentioned Voidwind Hybrid. I forgot about some of I got a bit sidetracked. This is also in the deck before anyone shouts at me. That is there. Which is great with proliferates, it just comes back. But anyway, that's my take on Venser. I'm going to think about the artifact side of it, because I think there is a way of building a really good artifact deck using Venser, and ignoring the poison side of things with Venser. So there may be a second Venser video coming up, but this is going to be Venser with Infect at the moment, or poison counters. So keep your eyes out for that. But if you've hit the subscribe button, you'll know when it comes out, because you'll get an alert. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, leave comments down below, let me know where I've gone wrong, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.